So this lesson's on the fall of the beginning of the fall of the second decemvirate. It's about the rape of Virginia, which is extremely similar story to the rape of Lucretia that ended the end of the Tarquins. So, first off, 5 questions based on the previous lesson. You know what to do. So, the tyranny of the 10 Tarquins, and how it came to an end. Okay, so the Decemvirates are ruling the city as tyrants, very unpopular. And of course, as is always the case in these stories, Rome's enemies decide to attack. Now, the Tarquins, the Decemvirate, have trouble raising an army without the say-so of the Senate. So the Decemvirate call a meeting of the Senate to raise a new army. The senators won't come. Then the Decemvirates send the lictors, the bully boys, out to force enough senators to turn up so that they can vote and be forced to vote for a new army. Amongst these senators are Valerius and Horatius. Here they are. And they very bravely stand up and say, "You are a tyrant. You are tyrants, all of you. This is against the law. This is wrong, and you will suffer the same fate as Tarquin." But the rest of the senators aren't so brave, and they do agree to raise a new army. A new army is raised, goes out to fight their enemies, but because they're being forced to do this, and they are being ruled by tyrants, this new army does very badly and suffers defeat after defeat. Meanwhile, Crassus, the leader of the Decemvirate, has developed lustful thoughts for a girl, a woman called Virginia. Yeah, he wants her, but she is engaged. She's engaged to a former tribune called Icolus. So here's the plan. Achilles, rather. Here's the plan. Crassus gets his friend Marcius to say, Virginia is not the daughter of a Roman citizen, like she's claiming. She's a slave. She's my slave, and she's escaped. Crassus is the head of the Decemvirate. He can decide that he have a trial to decide this. And the plan is, he will judge the trial, find that Virginia is in fact a slave, goes to go back to her master, and then this guy Marcius can give her to Crassus, so he can have her. So she's put on trial. At the trial, she demands to be able to see her father, a man called Virginius, who's away fighting in the army. Icolus fights his way through the crowd and shouts out that Crassus wants to rape her. The crowd get restive. So Crassus agrees to give some time for the father, so-called father, to be called for, and that Virginia can go back to her own house, not to his, so he doesn't have a chance to rape her. So the next day, the trial's on. At the trial, it is found, the obvious thing happens. Marcius says, "That's my slave." Crassus, as the judge, says, "Correct." Yeah. At that moment, her father, Virginius, steps forward. He asks to speak to her nurse servant, just to check that it really is his daughter. It's a pretext to get close to her. Then when he gets close to her, he picks up a knife and kills his own daughter, saying, "I am preserving your freedom in the only way I can." So the guy murders his own daughter to stop her being carted off by Crassus. This causes uproar, as you can imagine. Virginius and Achilles leave Rome, go back to the army, tell them what's happened. The army is outraged and a mutiny starts. They refuse to fight for Rome anymore. They refuse to follow orders. They refuse to follow the orders of the Decemvirates.